So we did these during the last live. I'll try to pick them up without messing them up. And these are already claimed by Catherine at One Poor Soul. So we'll get those varnished and out soon. It'll be a couple weeks actually because they have to cure. We did some varnishing last time we were on together. And as you can tell, I didn't get my brush put up. That's okay, I have another one we'll use. We're gonna do some varnishing again today before I clean this setup and move everything. So, we will be using Liquitex Professional Varnish, the gloss varnish, as our varnish. I'm just gonna move these out of the way. We did some fun paintings. I'm actually just going to sit that there and let that drip in there. Those are empty. Let me get set up while I've got you guys on. So, it was an interesting live last time. And I think we had quite a bit of fun. I know I did. So, this extra paint is going to become part of a pour later this week. Okay, so you're going to hear my chair. Okay, so I'm going to move some paintings that I did the first coat of varnish on from the very back to where I can reach them so I can put another coat of varnish on. I'm putting this down so I don't get any of this paint from below onto these paintings. I will be fixing my setup again and lifting it up probably tonight. Okay, and I'll need to have some trouble with this setup. It's too low. You guys can't see the full work. So let me get all of these. Probably can't stack them up here anymore because it seems like that's going to be an issue. That hasn't been varnished, but I'll try to put a coat on it today. Got that one. Trying to move these without hitting my camera because I have a bunch up here beside my camera. Okie dokie. And then I'm going to grab a couple that are farther away. So that I don't have to get up as much. I will have to get up to move some back over here. The goal is to get the second coat on most of these. I think there's a couple. There's a couple that'll be a third coat, but most of them it'll be the second coat. So let me just sit these here. So I know it's kind of boring for the first minute, but I do need to kind of gather everything to where hopefully I don't have to walk away as much during the live. I will have to walk away to move some of them, but not as much. Okay. I'm actually going to move this one because the first one I want to do is Orange Hibiscus. It was named by Elizabeth, and it is one of Elizabeth's pieces that she will be purchasing. So it is already claimed. This piece is not available. It is Elizabeth's. Okay, so the same thing we did with the first coat. With the pouring medium down, there is a little bit of bubbles in it because I did shake it a little bit. This is the first time using the brush, so I want to get the brush in. Same thing as last time. You can move it any way you want as long as the last time you move it is all going the same direction. And I'm just going for a full coat coverage here. If I have any spots that I see that I miss, I'll go back and get them. This coat will be a little bit thicker, slightly thicker than the last coat to help hide brush strokes. You don't have to wipe between coats. The only time you have to wipe is the first time around to get rid of the silicone. You don't have to clean between coats of resin, or this isn't resin. Okay, so then I'm going to tilt it and just make sure that every little section's covered. There are some air bubbles, so I'm going to take my torch and hit the air bubbles very carefully. And then double check and make sure that didn't create any sunken in places that don't have resin, varnish. And we're good. I'm going to clearing the edge up over here from where I just tilted it. Okay. And this is coat 2, and I do not see any brush strokes, but I will still be putting a third coat because I normally do 3 coats. So I'm going to slide that over there and sit it. I'm going to go ahead and do the ones that are sitting over here. So I don't have to redo them. I don't know how I'm still up and functioning, honestly. Last night I got an emergency call to whelp a litter. A female had gone in labor. And of course, at that point in time, vets were closed, so there were no ulterior options, and the owner hadn't whelped a litter before and needed help. So I left it around 8 o'clock last night, and I didn't get back till close to 4 p.m. today. She had 6 beautiful puppies, 3 of which were stillborn and did not make it. But she's doing good. She's alive. That's what matters. The pup was stuck in her canal, so if I hadn't gone, she probably would not still be with us. I'll be checking in with her owner on her again later. I normally don't make house calls. Normally, if I'm gonna whelp a litter, it needs to be here so that I have all my equipment and everything I need. But this was a late night house call that I just couldn't say no to. I could tell the female was in distress. The puppy was stuck pretty good. It was a huge puppy. She would not have been able to pass that puppy on her own. So that's for those of you who haven't been subscribers very long. That is part of what I do aside from my art, is I help whelp litters. And I help take care of dogs. So that is kind of me. That's kind of who I am. I love animals. And I don't think I'll ever not love animals. So that's just me. And it looks a little cloudy, but it does dry clear, so don't stress out about that if you try this Liquitex and you see that it looks a little cloudy and like a white color. It does dry clear. I will say if giving adequate to dry. You don't have to wait longer than a few hours between coats. I wait minimum of 24 hours between coats because it doesn't fully cure for 24 hours. And if you do it too soon and it's not completely dry, then the cloudiness will kind of leave that behind and you'll be able to tell. Okay, so there's a spot right here that isn't fully covered. And when you find spots like that, if you need to, you can add a drop more of the pouring I keep calling it pouring medium, the varnish, to keep from seeing the brush strokes. But if it's a tiny spot, sometimes you can just pull over it, like this corner over here was. And I'm just making sure everything's good. I see a few bubbles. I'm not using gloves. This varnish does peel off of your hands when it dries. It just peels right off. So it's not that big of a deal. Okay. This one over here has a small spot that just opened up. So we're going to just touch it up real quick. There we go. Sorry, I don't know if that messes with you guys. Someone tried to call. Okay, now we're back to this one. I wanted to get those over there done first. This one I really like. This one was one of the lemon squeeze pours, which I may end up doing a few more of those because it turned out pretty decent. Turned out very decent, honestly. I actually like this one so much that I was contemplating keeping it and not even posting it. But I keep trying to tell myself that I can't keep everything that I like, that I have to share my art with others, because I do not have unlimited wall space, unlike I wish I did. I so wish I had unlimited wall space. Touch up those edges. I can still see. Hit these. And then we'll look at it and see what we think. Again. Everything covered. I'll slide back in the chair because I'm going to have to put this at the back. Do them a couple at a time and move them as I go. So that one's at the back. Okay, this one has already had 2 coats. And we did the second coat during the last video. We're going to do the 3rd coat during this video. And then depending on how it turns out, will depend on if I do a 4th coat or not. Because after the 2nd coat, it was already covered up, the brush strokes, and it looked pretty clear and decent. Round round the corners off nice and simple. Okay, and then we will look at it and make sure we have full coverage. There are some bubbles. Make sure that that didn't mess anything up. That looks good. We're gonna slide it back. I think I can do it without getting up. Okay. This is Tina's pour. Not saying that she's getting it, that she's buying it, but I'm saying this is Tina's pour that we did. We tried a different color background. We let her choose the background color. Pretty sure you guys chose all of the colors, and then she chose to leave this corner alone and to blow this corner with a straw. So we kind of did a collaboration with her all the way in Florida and me in North Carolina. We just kind of co-made decisions on the piece. I actually like this piece a lot. I'm kind of in a singing mood, and I'm trying not to sing for you guys because I know I'm probably not the best. But I've been listening to music today. When I got home, that's what I did, because I wanted to sleep, but I knew I had stuff to do, so I wasn't able to. So I put my music on my YouTube channel and just listened to music while I did some stuff around the house that had to be done. Let's see, there's a spot up here. And if that didn't hit it, I'll add some paint, but that hit it. Okay. Here's 3. Okie dokie. I'm going to move a few more things out of the way to make room. So the goal is to get the second coat on all 18 of these that we had done the first coat on during the last live. Today, and then tomorrow hopefully I will get the third coat on them. And also tomorrow is Thursday. Thursdays I go live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that live we will be doing the custom pour for Charming Giraffe that she won during the 100 subscriber giveaway and game night. She gets to choose all of her colors. She gets to choose the pouring method, and we just are going to have some fun and pour for her. It's completely custom. Let's see if that works. If not, I'll add some pouring medium. That worked. I don't see any brush strokes. We look good. Okay. Slide that back. Okay. There we go. So we're getting some stuff done. It's not as eventful as most of my lives are, which this is a live, but it's an unlisted live because I wanted to do it, and then I'll post it tonight. Just because when I had time to do it, it's like 4 o'clock here, so for those of you who are in Cali, it's much earlier, and I doubted that anybody would be on. So I figured I would just do it and then post it tonight so that everybody can watch it. And plus, some people are, would want to just fast forward straight through to the actual pour after all the varnishing. I know some people don't like all of the technical stuff that goes into it. But I think it's important to show every part of start to finish how you do the stuff. And since I don't edit any of my videos because I haven't got that piece yet for my phone, you guys kind of get a straight up view of everything. If there's any mistakes, you guys see them. Can't hide any of that stuff from you guys since I don't edit. Okay. This was also a lemon squeeze pour. I actually really like this one too. I guess you'd call that more of a swipe than a pour. The lemon squeeze, it's more of a swipe. So we'll start calling it a swipe. Okay. Slide it up here. This one was a tree ring, and we swiped 3 of the corners. I move this piece of paper because it keeps getting stuck underneath my varnish. Also, for those of you who want to try this varnish, I got this varnish at Michael's, and they don't offer coupon codes for me to give out to people, but I do have some coupon codes saved up. Some that are good this week, some that won't be good till next week. I get mailings from them monthly that come with coupons, 4 or 5 different coupons, one for each week of the month. And I don't order every single week, so there's always some extra coupons. This bottle is 32 ounces. Normally, this bottle is $46, I believe. And with the coupon that I used last week, or a few weeks ago actually, I got it for $21 shipped. That's shipping and all, 21 bucks. You really can't beat that. That's an amazing deal. Okay, I'm gonna get up for a minute. I'm gonna sit a painting down in front of you so you can look at it. And I'm gonna get up and move some of these so that I have somewhere to let paintings dry. Come here, beautiful painting. Let me move a couple of these. I'm going to have varnish all over my hands that I'm going to have to let dry so that I can peel off. Take these 2 over here, and then that should be good. And I should have room for the rest of the island yet. So something to note. So I don't sit my paintings directly on cardboard or anything of that nature with the varnish because it sticks really good. So like if I left it sitting on this wax paper and it dripped off the edges, I would have to peel the wax paper off and I would end up with wax paper on the back. So I try to leave it somewhere that has open pieces, which is why I sit it on top of this crib thing for the most part. But if you sit it somewhere and you have to peel something off and then there's pieces left behind, you can just sand the back, the edges to take care of that. I have had to do that before. And when you get drips, sometimes you have to sand the edges. So it's not the end of the world. There are ways to fix things. It's one of the reasons I love this type of art. Because 9 times out of 10, there's a way to fix it. If you mess something up, you can re-pour, you can redo, you can fix it in all kinds of manners and ways. Okay, let me do the edges. And Bridget had asked for a video of me signing my work to show her how I sign the back and date it and do all that fun mess. So when these that I'm varnishing dry and we get a third coat on and they're ready to go, then the next video that I will do for you guys will be to show you guys how I do that. Everybody does it differently. Some people sign the front of their paintings. I choose not to sign the front of my paintings because you never know if the client's going to turn it the same way you turn it or if they want to turn it a different way. Everybody's perspective is different. So I always leave that up to the client. So I do not sign the front of my paintings. Now, if it was like a regular painted painting, like if it was a background pour and I added a tree or something, yeah, I would probably sign the front of it. But if it's still a pour, I'm probably not going to sign the front. That's just me. Some people sign the side edges, and I have done that before. But recently I have really started liking signing the backs. One, I can put my vinyl sticker that has my information, my artist name, my YouTube, stuff like that, to where people that see it somewhere and look for the information or ask for the information, it's there. 2, I can sign it, date it, put the name of the painting and everything without it affecting the painting in any way. And I like that. And I think it's nice to have the name of the painting on the painting as well. I think that just adds a nice touch. And so I'm running through some different ideals in my head, trying to brainstorm how to kind of get my name out there more, especially locally. We don't have that many art festivals, art shows. I actually haven't found a single one yet. Still looking. But regardless, I figured I would go to some of my local doctor's offices. I know some local photographers donate pictures to hang in, and they put their little postcard of information underneath the picture, and then the doctor's office has beautiful photos and they don't have to pay for it. So I was thinking I might talk to some doctor's offices and see if I can do the same with my art. Just 1 or 2 pieces just to kind of see. I'm also considering doing that at a few local restaurants as well. Some mom and pop restaurants that change their decor often or such. Places that, one, I don't mind my art being in, as well as places that I'm not going to have to worry about my art being there. I don't mind donating a few pieces to them to put up. If that puts my name out there more. So I'm considering doing that. So if any of you have done anything like that or have any luck with it, let me know. Any experience, good or bad, so that I kind of have something to go off of. I love this painting. And if I'm able to talk myself into it, this one may not be available. Because I really do love this one. This was also a test of some different techniques that I wasn't sure if they were going to work, but I think they worked out beautifully. I believe this one was a syringe pour, maybe? It's sad that I can't remember all of them, but this is paintings from a month ago, almost 3 to 4 weeks ago. And I still probably have 20 up there that I haven't even got the first coat of varnish on. Not counting anything from this past week. Just the ones that have been sitting up there waiting on me. But I had to wait for my varnish to get here. The post office has been slow because of the storm. UPS has been very slow because of the storm. UPS has been the worst due to the storm. Everybody else started delivering packages a few weeks before they did, which was kind of weird to me, but it happens. Okay. What do we have? We have 2 more, you guys. 2 more beautiful paintings to add a second coat to. Good thing about wax paper is you don't waste. Even though I got this on sale 50% off with the coupon code, I still prefer not to waste anything that I don't have to waste. There will be some that you're not able to save or whatnot, but for the most part, I try not to waste stuff. This pour turned out really nice. I also believe that the viewers chose these colors. These were colors I normally don't use together or somewhat at all. If you know me, you know I don't really use pink much. They turned out really good. I don't really use purple much either, but they turned out really nice. So, oops, there's a spot right there. I don't want to go over too much because I don't want brush strokes, but I do want to make sure it is covered. Okay, so that is the 18 that I needed to cover today. I'm going to move this and put it in the trash. I am going to do a pour for you guys before we go. Just trying to decide what I'm going to pour on. I guess I'm going to do a canvas today. I don't want to do any of that stuff right now. I do have some neat stuff that I want to pour on later. But let me dig a canvas out here. I'm going to leave you guys for just a second because I hear voices outside my house. I want to make sure the children have any messing with my animals. Take one moment. Let me just step to the living room and double check. sorry for that interruption, guys. So we have some neighborhood kids that their parents just let them roam around. And when I say kids, I don't mean teenagers. I mean like 5, 6, 7-year-old children that are just allowed to randomly roam around with no adult supervision. And I don't know. I mean, that back in the day, when I was growing up, I could run around with no supervision. But people didn't kidnap kids and all of the mess that goes on now. So you can see the Liquitex on me. And as it dries, it just peels right off. It's a really easy cleanup. Shut that bottle so that I don't waste any. Make sure you guys can kind of see this. I need to move this so I remember to deal with that. And what colors are we going to use? You guys can't answer me because you're not here, but let's see. Move my knife. And what method are we going to do? Okay, so we're going to do a strainer pour because I got my strainer from Wish. I finally got one with the lines on the side. So I'm going to sit it to the side. We will put a color down. So I'm trying to think. I think I'm going to put some black down. And we'll do a clean strainer pour. Just enough to kind of cover where I'm going to set the strainer. I'm going to pull it out a little bit, not much. And we're going to set our strainer in place. Ta-da. I kind of want to make sure you guys can see this pretty well. Okay, so against the black, I'm going to do yellow. Just because I feel like black and yellow look good against each other. Now, see, this paint looks a little thick, but I know that I mixed it appropriately. So that kind of worries me about mixing, about pre-mixing my paints. I'm just going to drop about a tablespoon of Floetrol in the blue and shake it up real quick just to see. And I mean, it could be just the temperature change. I mean, that seems a little better. So I might just add a tablespoon of Floetrol to each color as I put it in, just to make sure, because that yellow looked a little thick. So we're adding red, but I gotta mix it up real quick. I'm going to add some gold. I'm not going to add any Floetrol to it because it's a metallic, so it's normally more liquidy, which it is. Then I'm going to add some black on top of the gold. And I kind of wish I had put black between each color, like to give it like an outlier, but I really didn't think to do that. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of white, and then I think, actually no, I'm just going to do yellow. hadn't added Floetrol to the yellow yet, so let me do that. Okay. There's no silicone in any of these colors. There is the metallic, so let me see if I can keep this in one place and just kind of tilt a little. It's going to make it look wonky, but I twisted it and then I pulled it off. So I twisted it so that I didn't have like a stark line. There is metallics in here, so there'll probably be some cells, but not many. I see a lot of air bubbles there. Probably should have just shook it up. Okay, so I'm not super excited about this just because most of the colors faded over each other. Okay, but we'll just see how it turns out, you guys. Okay, it turned out interesting. I'm not super upset with it. I'm not super displeased with it. I'm gonna have to clean my hands. There's a lot of yellow in the center, but I'm not super upset about it, so we'll see. What I do need to do is put a fresh piece of paper underneath, and then I can decide, because I don't want it sitting on all that paint to dry on all that paint. And honestly, if I had somewhere to sit it, I would probably use this paint to do a dip. But I don't really have anywhere, and I can make somewhere. Wax paper. Okay, so I said I was going to do one pour, but I think we're going to use this maybe as a dip, maybe as a dip and swipe, maybe. Okay, so let me grab a canvas. Dun, dun, dun. Everything's falling, you guys. I just am running out of room in my room until I get all this stuff varnished. So evidently I didn't have another canvas available open, so we're going to open one. Because that's just too much paint to waste, isn't it? And I don't waste paint. Okie dokie. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna sit that down. Did I varnish this one? I actually left one up here that I didn't varnish, but that's okay. We'll get it at the end, maybe. Okay, so I know there's paint on here, but there's not enough paint, so I need to fill in some of these spots to be able to do a dip. So we're just gonna get kind of crazy with it and choose some colors to fill in spots with. There is no white, so I'm gonna probably throw some white down. And the varnish is starting to peel off my hands. I don't want it to peel and drop in the paint, so give me a second to peel some of the larger pieces off. Okay, so shake up the white, throw some in here, over here, and a little there. I'll probably just get my phone in all honesty. Okay. There is already red here, but we're going to throw a little bit more in. We're going to throw some in near the white because I know that people love pink. Oop, that was a little too much. And that should give us some pinks. Some blues. There might actually be enough here for a couple swipe dips, you guys, because it's coming out a little fast. I don't really like these pour spouts. I'd like to have a tip. Just don't want any blank spaces, because a blank space will turn into an empty spot on the canvas. Okay, and I'm going to pour a little bit of gold over top of it because that's going to help create cells because it's metallic. Okay. So that's going to be interesting. This will be my first time doing something like this. I've done a dip, but I haven't like done a dip like this. So try to make sure I cover every spot. And here we go. I actually like this a lot. I do need to do the edges. And I need some here, so I'm just going to take my hand and swipe it up, kind of like the rest of them are swiped. There. Okay, and then this is the top part, so it needs some of the darker stuff that's up here. There's a little blank spot right there. So I'm trying to cover up any little mishaps or blank spots, and then I'll do the edges. I'm going to pull the color off the edge a little. I can always go back and do the edges better at another point in time. I'm considering framing some of my art, so I'm going to look into that. So I could use a piece like this to test out my framing thoughts, where I wouldn't really have to worry too much about the edges. Try to pull some of this off the edge that's not in the swiping area, and that way if it drips down here, when I think I have enough paint to do another swipe, you guys. I mean another dip. We'll cover this last edge, and then we're going to do another dip, because I actually like the way this one turned out a lot. So that does mean I have to find somewhere to put this one. I think we're going to sit it up here where that painting that I did. Well, first I want to hit it with a torch. Okay, guys. So it looks pretty awesome. And we're going to do one more, and then I've got to go. Okay. Because Bill just walked in the door. He doesn't know I'm home and he's in there playing with the dog. Okay, I love this one. And I got some coverage on the edge. So, let's see. Okay, so now we're just going to dip the edges. I'm on a live. Give me just a second, okay? Don't let her in here. I have wet paint. Okay. And right here's the spot on the canvas that didn't get covered, so I'm going to put some paint on it, and then I'll try to swipe it or something if I need to. You can see where the canvas got left blank in spots. I guess where I pulled up, it pulled up weirdly. Okay. One sec, babe, I'm coming. Okay, I'll be right there. Okay. There you go, guys. Somebody's at the door wanting me, so I guess we're going to cut this live short, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 8.